Welcome to this edition of ABI's Quick Bit video series. My name is Lisa Fox, and I'm here with Bob Rafferty with the Brick Gentry firm, and we're talking about everybody's favorite topic, dealing with the government.
Yes,
but you've got some really common sense advice.
Well, you know, as we know, every business at some point is going to have to deal with the government. And unfortunately, it's becoming more and more frequent.
No kidding.
And so one of the things I want to stress right from the start, you got to have the right attitude, as with anything.
Hard to do.
And with this, one of the things I stress is realize these employees, these government employees, are public servants, and you got to think of them as a public servant and not as the bureaucrat. I know that's challenging because working with government is going to be frustrating.
It is.
Just accept that.
Your second principle is, again, basic, but I think it's great advice. You say to do your homework.
Absolutely. I mean, before you really jump into solving your issue, you got to understand the lay of the land. Number one, do some informal research so you find out how does that agency deal with your situation, typically. That can be done, review their website, or just make some kind of just informal phone calls and talk to someone.
Get a big picture.
Get a big picture. How do they typically handle that? The second part is a little more, it takes a little more work, but can be done, and that's finding out how much flexibility does that agency and does that employee actually have. That's understanding the law and the rules related to your situation. If the rules don't limit it, then you know that employee and agency have flexibility to help you solve your problem.
That's a good idea.
The third thing, because then the question is, why are they going to want to solve your problem? You got to understand, and this is, again, just going to the website and just reading some of the general things. Get a flavor for what is that agency trying to accomplish. What is the director of that agency wanting to accomplish? And think about how solving your problem will help them achieve that.
That is a great idea. The next thing that you talk about is how to interact. Because you got to interact just a little bit differently with a government employee.
Yeah, you know, once you've done your homework, now's the time to actually find the right employee that you need to talk to. That may take a little bit, but not necessarily. And then, you know, first off, let's go back to remember these are public servants. So think and put solving your problem in terms of this is good public policy. This is going to help the agency achieve its objectives by working with me and addressing my issue.
That's a good thought.
The second thing is you got to realize government employees usually have a lot on their desk. And so you need to be willing to make life as simple as you can for them. You know, I remember just last month, I needed a state agency to send a letter to a federal agency on our behalf. I wrote that letter and sent it to the state agency at 4 o'clock on a Thursday. At 9 o'clock on Friday, I had the letter signed and I was CC'd on it, and it had already been sent to that federal agency.
But you make the point. You wrote the letter.
But I wrote the letter, and all I had to do was cut and paste it on agency letterhead.
Make it easy.
Make it easy. And then the final point is follow-up. They have a lot going on. Just because you lay out their problem and you need them to get back to you, don't expect they're just going to independently do it. Don't push too much, but have the right touch. Follow up. And most importantly, going back to this attitude, be polite and courteous. These are public servants. If you follow some of these basic rules, it'll still be frustrating for you to interact with government, but hopefully it'll be more successful.
Well, and it sounds like it's all laying a foundation of respect. You've got to respect their role and be there for them as much as they're there for you. So
that's right.
Fantastic.